going to be a hard slog this season for the Patriots because the division has really upgraded the talent level. And the NFL draft gives the Patriots a chance to restock. Robert Kraft is not happy with the draft classes up until last year. And I think Belichick's really on the hot seat this year to deliver some players that can contribute quickly.
I know. And they need with their draft, I think they're gonna trade back. I think they're going to go back and try to get 2 players earlier, get an offensive lineman and a middle linebacker. I think they shouldn't go after an end unless they can get Williams. Williams will be gone from Alabama. So, and they say there'll be some good ends receivers in the second round, but I don't think they should go for receiver now. I think they're deep with receivers, no superstar, but they're deep enough for this year. I think it's more important to get a real top-notch guard.
Well, I think they need a number 1 cornerback because it seems like Miami with Hill and Waddle, I mean, those teams are going to be really hard to stop.
Well, you know they're going to play a zone most of the year now with the backs they have. I mean...
Unless you have enough pass rush that you can...
well, Jones will be back to cover the slot receiver.
Right.
Jones will be back. Williams, I thought he was going to be good, 6'3", cornerback a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he was nothing. So the argument for drafting a receiver earlier is that the high-priced receivers are going at extreme pay. I think Diggs is getting $24 million a year right now, which, I mean, I think he's a good player, but I don't know if obviously he's a $24 million player. If they pay, you get it. Tyreek Hill, is it $30 million a year for him? I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know if he's $30 million.
It's big money. So, I mean, in Kansas City, I think they just felt like they couldn't afford him. So certainly, fantastic player.
Well, who does Miami have to throw to them? I mean,
well, Tagliavola.
He's okay, but he's not a deep threat.
You know, I think the problem with Stephen Ross, the ownership, and the talk about tanking, that was Brady was trying to get there with Sean Payton as the coach, but between the Flores lawsuit and the talk about throwing games, that blew up. So.
Oh, of course. But he's coaching with Pittsburgh now.
Right.
Pittsburgh.
And then, of course, we all know what's happened in Washington with the Commanders. But the rumor is what's going to take the team down is that allegedly their accounting staff was keeping 2 sets of books, and one set wasn't counting all the revenue that was therefore going to be distributed to the players and to the NFL. So it's like the Al Capone story, is that when the league has found out that the ownership in Washington is cheating them, then the knives are going to come out.
It's tough now, and especially with all the money that's going on. I mean, it's still getting big money from the networks. I mean, that's paying most of the salary right there. But the Patriot-wise, they've got to get a quicker at middle linebacker, and they definitely need an offensive lineman. Who would you go after if you were picking? I mean, what position? Well, I know you say cornerback, but yeah. I think it's more important to get quick at middle linebacker.
Well, the Patriots are always looking for a bargain, so that's why I agree with you that they're going to trade down and try to get 2 players.
If they can get a late first-round pick and an early second-round pick with their second-round pick, I think he'll go that way, and hoping to get 3 top-notch players there. You know, I mean, if it breaks the right way.
Well, they've said, Grow, the new player personnel guy, says they have to get faster across the board. And obviously the sting of 47-17 in the postseason came to the Bills. You know, I don't know if the Bills are going to be putting up their made the playoffs flag like the Colts.
But you know, it's worked well for the Patriots at cornerback when they get these free agents. You know, I mean,
Malcolm Butler's back.
Yeah, Butler. Yeah, and then they lost Jackson, but he was a free agent too.
Right. So Jackson, where did Jackson go? I'm blanking on where he went. Mm-hmm. But
was it Carolina or someone? I'm not sure.
Gilmore just signed with the Colts. I didn't hear any word about what the money was, but you know, he's older, so, and he's missed time with injury. So by the time you get to be 32, 33-year-old as a cornerback, your days are getting numbered.
Well, you got to think, the Patriots got to be thinking the running game. They have two real good running backs, two of the best in football, I believe. And that offensive line, they have some good young offensive linemen. That's why they've traded Nason, I believe. They want one of those young guys to play, but they need to get another offensive lineman. I would like to see him get a left tackle and move Wynn over to left guard. You got Andrews. You got Brown, probably play right tackle. So if they pick up a real good tackle, then Wynn will be at his normal position rather than playing left tackle. So, if they can get that offensive line straight with the running attack they have and with Jones quarterbacking, I think those receivers are perfect receivers for him now. The receivers that he has. And watch out for Wilkerson, too. He may be...
Yeah, he showed a lot of potential. He certainly had the ability to get open. I don't know if you watched any of the USFL game the other night. It was football. I mean, it was probably much like college football, but the quarterbacks weren't great, and that's what separates. If you're a professional team, you need an excellent quarterback. I mean, they're saying that Jones would have been the number one quarterback if he were coming out this year. I don't even know.
Well, Jones, a lot of people don't understand. Jones is going to be a great quarterback. He's going to be. For what he did this year, he doesn't have a Waddle. He doesn't have these Hills. These guys, and look at him, Landry and ends like that. But he threw the ball well last year. I think he threw 67%.
Yeah, something like that.
He's got the tight ends now. Now he's got a better core at receiver. He's got two real good running backs. They got to get a good top-notch offensive lineman. They got 3 or 4 young offensive linemen that played last year when they had the injuries, and they did it well.
I guess there's a lot of concern about what the pecking order on the offensive side of the ball is going to be coaching-wise. Is Belichick going to run the offense now? Obviously he's been around forever. He can do anything there is to do.
What's the matter with Judge?
Yeah, that.
I don't go by what these nitwits are saying on TV, knocking him because would he go on 3rd and 10? He ran the ball or something twice. He was great when he was with the Patriots. Wasn't he
he was special team.
Special team.
Yeah, I think he did receivers one year. It's some of the things like the nepotism aspect with Belichick's sons coaching. We don't know. They've been around football forever. They might know everything, but the question is, do the players listen to them? Yeah. I don't know.
But talk about the experts on TV. I couldn't stop laughing. Then my daughter even asked me, Melissa said to me yesterday at the baseball game, she goes, because she's coaching basketball now, she goes, you can't call a timeout when you're on defense, can you? There's no way. I said, no, you can't unless it's a dead ball. She goes, the guy that was on with Felger, what's his name?
Maserati?
No, he covers the Patriots.
Greg Bedard?
No. He does basketball and baseball. He goes, how come, listen to this, when the Celtics got the rebound, when Durant missed the last shot, he goes, how come Philadelphia. How come Brooklyn didn't call a timeout on defense? And Felger goes, I don't think you can call a timeout on defense. So that was. Right. These are the guys that you're listening to.
Let's say a little bit about baseball. The Red Sox, the sample size is small. They're 5-5. They haven't been impressive. They haven't hit. They haven't pitched. They've defended okay. I don't know. I'm not that optimistic so far. And the other thing is, the fans are getting restless. Bogarts, I get it. They signed Story so he can slide over when Bogarts becomes a free agent. But if Devers leaves and Bogarts leaves after the Betts thing, the fans are going to be on the warpath.
When's Seal coming back? Have you heard?
Who knows? So
they're going to do okay. I think they'll do okay.
Tanner Houck can't go to Toronto because he's not vaccinated.
I'll tell you one. He's got talent, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's got 2 great pitches, and if he can come up with a third anything, whether it's the splitter or a decent changeup, he's going to be a really good pitcher.
I remember him last year. If he can put the ball where he wants it to, wants to put it, he's going to be really tough. Their bullpen's not bad.
Evaldi is not a number 1. He's maybe a 2 or a 3. Let's say Houck's a 3. Rich Hill, he's 40,000 years old. I mean, I get it. They're hoping that it'll be Jamie Moyer and be able to throw that slop up there and get people out.
His father passed away.
I know. So he was mentally tough, but physically got beat up a little. And Waka, again, very experienced guy. We'll see how it goes.
They'll do all right. You got to figure they'll probably win between 87 and 90 games.
Yeah, well,
Red Sox.
They have a couple of important series coming up. They start with Toronto tonight, and then they go to Toronto next week. And I hope they don't get a Boston Massacre scene, because Toronto's really good.
How about the Yankees? Everybody's down on Judge now because he didn't sign that contract.
Well, they offered him $30 million a year,
and he's always hurt.
Right. So, I mean, how much do you think you're worth? I mean, you got to be out there and contributing.
He wants to get what some of these other players are getting, Harper and them.
Well, I think the deals are always bad at the end of the deals. Cabrera's still playing for the Tigers. He's not earning it. Pujols is playing for the Cardinals now.
Yeah.
I mean,
but when you don't come through at the end of the games, like Judge in the big games, strikes out a lot. He has the good stats at the end of the year, but you got to come through, in the playoffs. When you're striking out, in key situations.
Yeah, I mean, whatever Ortiz's statistics were, the guy always came through.
Unbelievable. No one came through like Ortiz.
So, I mean, people expect that. And, as fans, we also judge people by their salary. So we say Kike Hernandez is a $7 million player. That's a bargain in center field. Well, JBJ is $12 million, and he's mediocre, offensively, great defender in right field. Although hopefully the guys they got, one guy's hitting 500 in the minors at Double-A.
It's tough to get into baseball, though, this time of the year with the way the Celtics, and then the Patriots draft. Everybody's nervous about that. The true Patriot fans, they want them to get. If they can do what they did last year,
well, and then it'll
be a great draft.
And then you have the most loyal fans of them all, the Bruins fans, who, patiently wait, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, they're injured right now. I mean, if they get healthy, they made the playoffs, so you never know.
Yeah.
In hockey, you never know.
Without Pastrnak, the power play went south, and then they've had a lot of injuries on
their defense.
So, and they're still trying to figure out who the number one goalie is.
But that's still a fun time of the year when the playoffs come.
Oh yeah. So, it's going to be a lot of excitement for us to root for.
But how about the Celtics though? If they beat Brooklyn, then they got to play Milwaukee. There's a Milwaukee, yeah, and then Philly, I think, will beat Miami.
Philly looked outstanding last night.
Maxey's really good.
Yeah. So with it's always you need the 3-star players, and with Embiid, Harden, and Maxey scored 38 points in the opening game, and last night he did well as well.
But put it this way: what are the odds for the Celtics to win the championship when they have to beat Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Philadelphia,
and Phoenix? Yeah, that's tough.
That'd be unbelievable.
Tough road
if that
to hoe.
Happened.
Yeah. We would be totally remiss if we didn't mention the passing of two of Melrose's greatest fans from the back row boys, Dick Caulis and George Lovett. Both of them were kind of all everything at presence at Melrose Sports. Dick had a story for everything, and he had a story for everything about MIT as well. He knew everything about MIT. So the back row boys were always there during the big games. I remember they were there with signs when Shea Petty scored her 1,000th point in high school. And just two great guys who were great advocates for the kids and community supporters, and we're going to all miss them greatly.
Yeah, we hung around with Dick a little more. We take him to the volleyball games and basketball games. Great guy, both of them were great guys.
So we'll miss them dearly, and send our condolences to their families. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ron Sen.
And I'm Ralph LaBelle, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Sports.